How many hours of your life did you trade for that thing you bought last week and already forgot about? That $100 dinner? That $50 shirt? That $200 gadget? Most people have no idea because they think about money wrong. They think money comes from their job. It doesn't. Money comes from your life energy, the hours of your finite life you'll never get back. Every dollar you spend isn't just money. It's hours of your life you traded for it. And once you truly understand this, you'll never waste money the same way again. Joe Domingos and Vicki Robbins' Your Money or Your Life is the book that launched the financial independence movement decades before it became trendy. This isn't another book about budgeting or investing strategies. This is about completely transforming your relationship with money by understanding one fundamental truth. Money is your life energy. When you buy something, you're not spending money, you're spending hours of your life. When you work, you're not earning money. You're converting your life energy into money. The subtitle promises transforming your relationship with money and achieving financial independence. Notice, it doesn't promise to make you rich or teach you to invest. It promises transformation, a complete mental revolution in how you think about money, work, and life. This transformation has helped thousands achieve financial independence not by earning millions, but by understanding what they actually need versus what they're wasting life energy on. Here's what makes this book different. It's not about deprivation or extreme frugality. It's about consciousness. Most people spend unconsciously, swiping cards, clicking buy buttons, never connecting purchases to the life energy they represent. This book forces you to become conscious of every dollar, not to restrict spending, but to align spending with your actual values. When you're conscious, you naturally spend less on things that don't matter and more on things that do. Over the next 30 minutes, you're getting the complete 9-step program that's helped thousands achieve financial independence. These aren't gentle tips about saving more. These are radical steps that will completely change how you see money, work, and what you're actually trading your life for. If you're ready to stop wasting life energy on things that don't matter and start building the freedom to live on your terms, let's go. Chapter 1. Making Peace with the Past. Calculate your real hourly wage. Dominguez and Robin begin with Step 1. Calculate your real hourly wage, which is far less than you think. Most people know their salary, but have no idea what they actually earn per hour when accounting for all work-related costs and time. This calculation is shocking and necessary because you can't value your life energy without knowing what you're actually trading it for. The standard calculation people use is wrong. If you earn $50,000 yearly and work 40 hours weekly for 50 weeks, that's $25 per hour. But this ignores all the hidden costs and time associated with working. The real calculation is far more complex and always produces a lower hourly wage than the simple version. Here's the real hourly wage calculation. Start with your annual income after taxes. Then subtract all work-related expenses, commuting costs, gas, car maintenance, public transit, work clothes, suits, business casual you wouldn't otherwise buy, meals out because you're too tired to cook, child care so you can work, stress-related health costs, and any other expenses you only have because of your job. This reduced number is your actual take-home after work costs. Then calculate your actual work time. Not just the 40 hours at the office, but commute time. 30 minutes each way equals 5 hours weekly. Time getting ready for work, if you wouldn't dress that way otherwise. Time decompressing from work stress, time shopping for work clothes, time spent on work-related activities outside normal hours. For many people, a 40-hour job actually consumes 50 to 60 hours weekly when all associated time is counted. The authors share shocking examples. Someone earning $50,000, roughly $25 per hour, who calculates real hourly wage, including all costs, and time discovers they're actually earning $12 to $15 per hour. Someone earning $100,000 discovers they're earning $30 to $35 per hour, not the $50 per hour they assumed. This realization is the foundation of everything else, because it shows you're trading far more life energy for money than you realized. Why this calculation matters. Once you know your real hourly wage, every purchase becomes visible in hours of life energy. That $50 dinner isn't just $50. It's 3 to 4 hours of life energy. The $200 gadget isn't just $200. It's 13 to 15 hours of life energy. Suddenly, purchases aren't abstract numbers. They're chunks of your finite life you'll never recover. The psychological impact is immediate and powerful. Dominguez shares that after calculating real hourly wage, people naturally start questioning purchases. Is this item worth 20 hours of my life? Often the answer is no, and spending decreases dramatically without feeling deprived because the spending wasn't aligned with values anyway. It was unconscious consumption. The authors emphasize that this isn't about guilt or shame for past spending. The step is called making peace with the past. You can't change how much life energy you've wasted, but you can stop wasting it going forward. Calculate your lifetime earnings, total money earned throughout life. Then assess whether your current lifestyle reflects that amount. Many people have earned $500,000 to $1 million plus, but have almost nothing to show for it. The money leaked away through unconscious spending. The total lifetime earnings exercise is brutal but necessary. Add up everything you've earned since your first job. Then look at your current net worth. The difference between lifetime earnings and current net worth is what you've spent. For most people, they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with shockingly little to show for it. No memories, no assets, no fulfillment. Just gone. This realization isn't meant to create depression. It's meant to create awakening. You've been unconsciously converting life energy to money, to stuff that provided no lasting value. Now you can make different choices. The past is gone, but every future hour of life energy is yours to spend consciously. The practical application: keep this real hourly wage number visible. Write it on cards. Post it where you see it. Use it constantly to evaluate purchases. When considering buying something, calculate how many hours of life energy it costs at your real hourly wage. This translation from dollars to life energy hours transforms spending decisions completely. The action step: calculate your real hourly wage this week. Take your after-tax income, subtract all work-related expenses, then divide by all work-related hours including commute, preparation, and decompression time. Write this number prominently where you'll see it daily. Then calculate your lifetime earnings and compare to current net worth. This brutal honesty about past spending patterns creates motivation for conscious spending going forward. Chapter 2. Being in the present. Tracking every penny. Step 2 is tracking every penny that comes into and goes out of your life. Not estimating, not approximating. Tracking with absolute precision. This seems tedious and obsessive, but it's essential because you cannot change what you don't measure, and most people have no real idea where their money, life energy, actually goes. The authors are adamant. Track every penny, not rounded to the nearest dollar, not roughly $20 on lunch, but exact amounts. That coffee was $4.37, not about $5. This precision matters because people systematically underestimate spending by 20 to 30% when approximating. Exact tracking reveals truth that approximation obscures. The tracking system is simple. Carry a small notebook or use a phone app. Record every transaction as it happens. Every purchase, every bill, every income. Categorize spending into major categories: housing, food, transportation, entertainment, clothing, etc. At month's end, total each category and total income. This creates the foundation for all future steps. Dominguez and Robin address resistance. This sounds like too much work. They respond that tracking takes 5 to 10 minutes daily, less time than you spend on social media, and the payoff is enormous. Awareness of where life energy actually goes. You can't make conscious choices without information. Tracking provides information. The psychological impact of tracking. People are shocked by what they discover. I spent $400 on restaurants this month. I thought it was $100. I spent $150 on subscriptions I barely use. I spent $80 on coffee. The gap between perceived spending and actual spending is often 100% plus in various categories. This gap explains why people feel like they should have more money than they do. They're spending far more than they realize. The authors share that tracking itself changes behavior even without trying to change. Once you know you've spent $400 on restaurants, you naturally reduce restaurant spending, not because you imposed rules, but because the spending was unconscious habit, not conscious choice. Awareness naturally shifts behavior toward values. The total monthly spending revelation. Most people discover they spend significantly more than they thought. Someone who believed they lived on $3,000 monthly discovers they actually spend $4,000 to $4,500. This explains why saving is impossible. Their mental model of spending was 25 to 30% lower than reality. You can't save when you don't know what you're actually spending. The tracking also reveals spending patterns. Certain categories balloon unexpectedly: entertainment, dining out, shopping, while others are lower than expected: utilities, transportation. These patterns show where unconscious spending concentrates. Typically, the largest unconscious spending is in variable discretionary categories, the exact areas where life energy is being wasted on things not aligned with values. Dominguez emphasizes the monthly ritual. At month's end, total all income and all spending by category. Calculate the difference, income minus spending. This monthly accounting creates a rhythm of awareness that prevents unconscious drift. Without monthly totals, people track for a week, get busy, and stop, never getting the full picture. The no judgment rule is crucial. Track spending without judging or changing it initially. Just observe for the first month. Don't beat yourself up. Don't restrict. Don't try to be good. Just see reality clearly. Judgment creates resistance. Curiosity creates insight. After seeing reality clearly, you can make conscious changes. Before seeing reality, you're operating blind. The action step: start tracking every penny today. Use a notebook, spreadsheet, or app. The tool doesn't matter, only precision and consistency. Track for minimum 30 days without trying to change spending. Just observe. At month's end, total everything by category and total income. The revelation from seeing real numbers will motivate all future changes. Chapter 3. Monthly Tabulation. The Wall Chart. Step 3 introduces the wall chart, a visual representation of income, expenses, and savings over time that makes the invisible visible. This isn't just data tracking. It's creating a physical representation of your financial life that you see daily, making the abstract concrete and the unconscious conscious. The wall chart is a large graph posted prominently in your home with 3 lines plotted monthly: total income, total expenses, and cumulative savings/investment. Each month, you plot new points and watch the trends over time. This visual tracking creates visceral awareness that spreadsheets don't provide. You physically see whether the gap between income and expenses is widening, good, or narrowing, bad. The authors explain why visual representation matters. Humans are visual creatures. Numbers in spreadsheets are abstract and forgettable. Lines on a wall chart posted where you see them daily are concrete and memorable. The wall chart creates daily reminders of financial reality and progress that computerized tracking never provides. It also creates accountability through visibility. The 3-line system: income line should be relatively stable. Expense line should trend downward as you optimize spending. And cumulative savings line should increase monthly as gap between income and expenses grows. The goal is widening the gap between income and expenses so savings accumulate, which the wall chart makes visually obvious. Dominguez shares that the wall chart creates emotional investment in financial progress. It's one thing to know intellectually that you saved $500 this month. It's completely different to physically plot a point on your wall chart and see the savings line climbing. The visual progress creates positive reinforcement that motivates continued improvement. The turning point moment many people experience. After months of tracking, the expense line crosses below a certain threshold, or the savings line accelerates upward visibly. This visual confirmation that behavior change is working creates momentum. Seeing progress motivates more progress. A positive reinforcement loop the wall chart enables. The chart also reveals patterns invisible in monthly data: seasonal spending spikes, holidays, summer, income fluctuations, bonuses, irregular income, expense creep, gradual increases in various categories. These patterns help predict future months and plan accordingly. Without long-term visual tracking, these patterns remain invisible. The authors emphasize that the wall chart should be prominent in your kitchen, home office, or somewhere you pass daily, not hidden in a drawer or closet. The visibility keeps financial reality and progress in consciousness. Out of sight is out of mind. The wall chart prevents this by making it impossible to ignore. The psychological benefit of cumulative tracking. Each month, you see not just this month's saving, but the growing total of all past savings. Someone who saves $400 monthly watches their savings line rise from $400 to $800 to $1,200 over 3 months. This cumulative visualization is far more motivating than seeing $400 saved monthly without context of total accumulated progress. Robin emphasizes that the wall chart becomes a source of pride and motivation. People report showing it to visitors, which creates accountability, checking it daily, which maintains focus, and celebrating milestones when savings cross certain thresholds. The chart transforms abstract financial progress into concrete achievement worthy of pride. The crossover point visualization. Eventually, if followed completely, the savings line reaches a point where investment income equals expenses. The wall chart makes this distant goal visible and approaching, rather than abstract and impossible. Seeing the savings line climbing toward the crossover point line creates tangible hope that financial independence isn't fantasy. The action step. Create your wall chart this week. Use graph paper, poster board, or print a template, whatever works. Plot your last 3 months of data if you have it. Income, expenses, savings. Post it prominently. Commit to plotting new data monthly. The physical act of plotting points creates engagement spreadsheets. Never provide. Chapter 4. 3 questions that transform. Spending, Step 4, introduces 3 questions to ask about every expenditure in every spending category. These questions create consciousness that transforms spending from unconscious habit to conscious choice. The questions are simple but powerful. Did I receive fulfillment, satisfaction, and value in proportion to life energy spent? Is this expenditure of life energy in alignment with my values and life purpose? How might this expenditure change if I didn't have to work for money? The first question, did I receive fulfillment, satisfaction, and value in proportion to life energy spent? Forces honest assessment of whether purchases actually provided value. Many don't. The $50 restaurant meal that was disappointing. The $100 shoes that looked great in store, but you never wear. The $30 monthly subscription you forget exists. These expenditures consumed life energy, but provided no proportional value. The evaluation process. For each spending category, rate fulfillment on a scale. If transportation spending is high, but you hate your commute, fulfillment is low, spending lots of life energy for negative experience. If entertainment spending is moderate, but brings great joy, fulfillment is high, life energy well spent. This assessment reveals mismatches between spending and value received. The second question, is this expenditure in alignment with my values and life purpose? Reveals spending that contradicts stated values. Someone who values health but spends heavily on junk food. Someone who values family but spends on work clothes to impress colleagues rather than on family experiences. Someone who values environment but drives gas-guzzling vehicle. The contradictions become visible and uncomfortable. The authors explain that most people have never explicitly identified their values and life purpose, so alignment is accidental at best. Step 4. Forces clarity. What do you actually value? What's your life purpose? Then evaluate whether spending reflects those values or contradicts them. Usually, enormous spending contradicts values because it's unconscious habit, not conscious choice. The third question, How might this expenditure change if I didn't have to work for money? Reveals spending driven by work itself. The expensive coffee because you're exhausted. The convenience foods because you're too tired to cook. The entertainment because you need escape from work stress. The clothes to project professional image. Remove work, and much of this spending becomes unnecessary. This third question is particularly revealing. Many people discover 30 to 40% of spending is work-related or work-caused. Direct costs like commuting or indirect costs like stress relief spending. This spending isn't adding life value. It's compensating for work's negative impacts. If you didn't work, you wouldn't need this spending. Realizing this shows how much life energy is consumed in a circular pattern. Work to earn money to spend on things you need because you work. The practical application. Review your spending from the last month category by category, asking all three questions. Use a scale, 1 to 10 or plus 0 minus, to rate each category. Categories scoring low on these questions are where life energy is being wasted. Categories scoring high are where life energy creates value. This analysis reveals where to cut low-scoring categories and where spending might even increase, high-scoring if it's too low relative to value. Dominguez shares that this process naturally reduces spending without feeling deprived because you're not cutting things you value. You're cutting things that scored low on fulfillment, alignment, and necessity. The restaurant spending that you rated low, easy to cut because it wasn't providing value anyway. The hobby spending that scored high, keep it because it's life energy well spent. The action step for each spending category from last month, rate it on the three questions using +/0/- scale. Plus means spending aligns well with values and provides good value. 0 means neutral. Minus means spending contradicts values or provides poor value. Focus on reducing/eliminating minus categories and questioning 0 categories. This conscious evaluation transforms spending from unconscious habit to conscious choice. Chapter 5. Making Life Energy Visible, the Monthly Update. Step 5. Establishes the monthly ritual of updating your financial data and reflecting on progress. This isn't just bookkeeping. It's creating a regular appointment with yourself to assess whether you're trading life energy wisely and making progress toward financial independence. The monthly update includes totaling income and expenses for the month, calculating savings, income minus expenses, updating the wall chart with new data points, reviewing the 3 questions assessment for the month, and reflecting on what changed and why. This monthly ritual takes 1 to 2 hours but provides clarity and direction that unconscious living never offers. The authors emphasize that the monthly update should be scheduled consistently. First Sunday of each month, last Friday, whatever works. But consistent timing creates rhythm. Without scheduled regular updates, people track for a while, get busy, and stop, losing all benefits of consciousness. The monthly appointment makes it non-negotiable. The reflection component is crucial. What changed this month? Did expenses go up or down? Why? Did income change? What categories increased or decreased? Was there a specific event or decision that impacted spending? This reflection transforms data from numbers into insights about behavior patterns and triggers. Dominguez shares that the monthly ritual often reveals spending creep, gradual increases in various categories that aren't visible day to day but become obvious monthly. Dining out increased $50 this month. Entertainment increased $75. These gradual increases compound into significantly higher spending over time. Monthly awareness catches creep early. The ritual also creates accountability. If you know you'll review spending monthly, you're more conscious during the month. The person who knows they'll face their restaurant spending total at month's end is naturally more conscious about restaurant choices than someone who never reviews totals. The progress celebration component. The monthly update should include celebrating progress. If expenses decreased, acknowledge it. If savings increased, celebrate it. If you answered the 3 questions more positively than last month, recognize the improvement. This positive reinforcement maintains motivation for continued improvement. Robin emphasizes that the monthly update prevents financial unconsciousness from returning. People naturally drift toward unconsciousness. It's comfortable and requires no effort. The monthly ritual interrupts drift, pulling you back to consciousness regularly. Without it, even people who start strong eventually drift back to old patterns. The action step: schedule your monthly financial update right now. Put it in your calendar as recurring appointment. Commit to doing it every month for at least 6 months. The consistency builds the habit, and the habit maintains consciousness that transforms financial life. Chapter 6. Minimizing Spending: The Path to Financial Independence. Step 6 focuses on actually reducing expenses through the consciousness created by previous steps. The authors emphasize this isn't about deprivation or extreme frugality. It's about aligning spending with values and eliminating waste revealed by the 3 questions. The natural spending reduction. Most people find that tracking, questioning, and evaluating spending naturally reduces it by 20 to 30% without feeling deprived. Why? Because much spending was unconscious habit providing no real value. Once conscious, people naturally choose not to spend on things they don't actually want or value. Dominguez introduces the concept of enough, determining how much is enough in each category, then limiting spending to that amount. Not maximum you could afford, but actual enough for satisfaction. Someone might determine $200 monthly on dining out is enough for satisfaction. More doesn't increase happiness proportionally. This enough becomes the target, reducing spending from whatever it was to conscious sufficiency. The no-shame principle. Reducing spending isn't about being cheap or deprived. It's about consciousness and choice. Someone who consciously chooses to spend less on restaurants to spend more on travel isn't deprived. They're aligning spending with values. Framing is crucial. This is optimization, not deprivation. The authors share multiple strategies for reducing expenses. Housing, the largest expense. Can it be reduced? Transportation, second largest. Can you live closer to work, use public transit, or downsize vehicles? Food, third largest. Cooking versus eating out makes enormous difference. And then discretionary categories, where quick wins exist. The housing challenge. Most people's largest expense is housing at 25 to 40% of income. Reducing housing even slightly creates massive savings. Downsizing from $2,000 to $1,500 monthly saves $6,000 annually. Enormous impact. Options include getting roommates, moving to cheaper area, downsizing home, or house hacking, renting rooms. This feels drastic, But for someone serious about financial independence, it's the fastest path. The transportation transformation. Many people spend $400 to $800 monthly on car payments, insurance, gas, and maintenance, downsizing to paid-off reliable car, or eliminating second car saves $300 to $500 monthly, $3,600 to $6,000 annually. Combined with housing reduction, these two categories alone can save $10,000 plus annually. The food optimization, eating out versus cooking at home, is often $600 plus monthly difference. Someone spending $800 on restaurants and takeout could spend $200 on groceries and cooking, saving $600 monthly, $7,200 annually. This single change finances significant investment contributions. Robin emphasizes that the goal isn't minimum spending, it's optimal spending. Optimal spending maximizes fulfillment per dollar. Sometimes this means spending more in certain categories, hobbies that bring joy, while spending less in others, categories scoring low on the 3 questions. It's reallocation from low value to high value spending, not across-the-board reduction. The enough versus more mindset. Consumer culture pushes more. Bigger house, newer car, more clothes, more stuff. The financial independence mindset asks, enough. What's enough for genuine satisfaction? This shift from more to enough naturally reduces spending because you stop the endless upgrade cycle that consumes massive life energy. The authors address the fear, but what if I need that money later? They respond that living below your means and saving the difference creates far more security than living at or above your means. The person spending every dollar has zero security. The person spending 70% of income and saving 30% builds unshakable security rapidly. The action step. Identify your 3 highest expense categories: likely housing, transportation, food. For each, determine what enough looks like, the amount that provides satisfaction without waste. Then, create a plan to move current spending toward enough in each category. Even reducing the big 3 by 20% combined creates thousands in annual savings. Chapter 7. Valuing your life energy, increasing income. Step 7 addresses income. While reducing expenses is faster, increasing income accelerates progress. The authors emphasize that increasing income should never come at cost of more life energy than the income provides. The trap of golden handcuffs, where higher income requires proportionally more life energy. The paradox of income. Many people pursue income increases that ultimately reduce life quality. Taking a higher-paying job with longer hours, worse commute, or more stress often results in spending more on work-related costs and stress relief, negating the income increase. The authors warn, evaluate whether income increases actually improve your financial position after accounting for additional time and costs. The real increase calculation. Before accepting higher income opportunity, calculate real increase. New job pays $10,000 more, but adds 10 hours weekly to commute and requires business wardrobe. The $10,000 becomes $6,000 after taxes, minus $2,000 for 500 additional commute hours at real hourly wage, minus $1,000 for work clothes, equals $3,000 actual increase, versus 500 hours of life energy consumed. Worth it? Maybe not. The strategic income increase. Focus on increasing income without proportionally increasing life energy consumption. This might mean side businesses using existing skills, freelance work from home, no commute, passive income streams, or negotiating raises at current job without adding hours. These increase income without proportionally increasing time and cost inputs. Dominguez shares that many people discover their current job isn't optimal for financial independence. They're trading too much life energy for too little compensation. Sometimes the answer is switching careers entirely to something paying better or consuming less life energy, not just seeking raises in current field. The authors emphasize that income focus should never override expense focus. Increasing income while maintaining or increasing expenses produces no progress toward financial independence. Increasing income while maintaining reduced expenses accelerates progress dramatically. The combination is powerful. If someone reduced expenses by $500 monthly and increased income by $500 monthly while keeping expenses stable, they're now saving $1,000 monthly instead of breaking even. The action step: calculate your real hourly wage, including all work costs and time. Then evaluate whether your current work optimizes income per unit of life energy. If not, explore alternatives, side income, career changes, or negotiations. Any income increase should be saved, not spent, to accelerate progress toward financial independence. Chapter 8: Financial Independence. The crossover point. Step 8 is investing savings to generate passive income that eventually exceeds expenses. The crossover point, where you achieve financial independence. The authors take a specific investment approach: ultra-safe, low-risk, long-term bonds providing stable income, not stocks or real estate. The controversial investment philosophy. Dominguez and Robin advocate for U.S. Treasury bonds or similar ultra-safe investments producing 3 to 4% annual income. They explicitly reject stocks, real estate, or anything volatile or requiring active management. Their reasoning: financial independence is about security and peace of mind, not maximizing returns. A safe 4% return that you never think about is better than a risky 10% return that keeps you awake at night. The enough principle applied to returns. Most people pursue maximum returns, accepting higher risk. The financial independence perspective asks, what return is enough to fund your lifestyle? If you need $30,000 annually and have $750,000 saved in bonds at 4%, you're done. Pursuing higher returns is unnecessary and adds risk you don't need. The crossover point calculation. Expenses divided by safe investment return rate equals amount needed for financial independence. Someone with $30,000 annual expenses using 4% safe withdrawal rate needs $750,000 invested. When investment income equals expenses, you've reached crossover point. Financial independence work becomes optional. The path to crossover point. Reduce expenses through steps 1 to 6, increasing savings rate. Invest savings in ultra-safe bonds producing income. Continue until passive income equals reduced expenses. For many people, this path takes 7 to 15 years depending on starting point, income, and how aggressively they reduce expenses. The authors share multiple examples of people achieving financial independence on modest incomes. Someone earning $35,000 who reduced expenses to $18,000, saving $17,000 annually. After 12 years, they had $300,000 plus invested, generating $12,000 annually. Not full financial independence yet, but building toward it at a rate impossible while spending $35,000, the enough lifestyle at Crossover. People who reach financial independence through this path typically live on $20,000 to $40,000 annually. Modest by American standards, but entirely sufficient for fulfilling lives when spending is aligned with values. They're not deprived. They're liberated from needing to trade life energy for money. The action step: calculate your crossover point. What are your annual expenses after optimization? From step 6. Divide by 0.04, or your chosen safe withdrawal rate. This is your financial independence number. Then calculate how long reaching it will take, given your current savings rate. This concrete target transforms abstract someday into specific timeline. There you have it, the complete 9-step program from your money or your life. Calculate your real hourly wage to understand what you're actually trading. Track every penny to create consciousness. Create a wall chart to make progress visible. Ask 3 questions that transform spending. Do monthly updates to maintain consciousness. Minimize spending by finding enough. Increase income strategically. Invest for the crossover point. Notice, this isn't about getting rich. It's about getting free from needing to trade life energy for money. Free from work you don't love. Free to choose how you spend your finite life. Dominguez and Robin prove you don't need millions to be financially independent. You need to reduce expenses to enough and invest systematically until passive income covers those expenses. The core message: money is your life energy. Every dollar you spend is hours of your life you traded for that dollar. Once you truly understand this, not intellectually but viscerally, you stop wasting life energy on things that don't matter. You align spending with values. You find enough in each category, and you save the difference between earnings and enough, investing it to buy your freedom. Your action plan. This week, calculate your real hourly wage, including all costs and time. Next week, start tracking every penny. Create your wall chart by end of month. Apply the 3 questions to last month's spending. Do monthly updates going forward. Identify enough in major categories and reduce to that level. Calculate your crossover point and timeline. The program is simple. Execution requires commitment, but rewards are life-changing. Remember, you're not doing this to be cheap or deprived. You're doing this to stop trading your finite life for money, to buy things that don't align with your values. You're doing this to build the freedom to spend your life on your terms, not your employer's terms. You're doing this because you finally understand that money isn't wealth. Freedom is wealth. Thanks for watching this life-changing summary. If the idea of transforming life energy into freedom resonated, hit that like button and subscribe. Comment with your real hourly wage after calculating it. Most people are shocked. And remember, your money or your life, not both. Choose wisely. Now go calculate that real hourly wage and start tracking. Your free life is waiting.